Today's lesson is Unlocking the Power of the Pygmalion Effect. Hi, everybody. My name is Roger.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're going to talk about something called the Pygmalion Effect, which sounds kind of weird. What the heck is the Pygmalion effect? Well, we should probably tell you that Pygmalion is a story from Greek mythology. I think he was the king of Cyprus or something like that. And he made a statue out of ivory of a woman, and he fell in love with that statue, and he prayed to Aphrodite to bring it to life for him, and they got married and had a child later.
I see. It's also kind of the basis of the My Fair Lady, right? It was the basis of that, I think, also about someone who tries to turn a simple woman into a fancy woman by teaching her how to speak and how to behave in a fancy woman style of way, and seeing how that either goes wrong or works out in the end. So there's also the Pygmalion story by, of course, George Bernard Shaw, which was the basis of the My Fair Lady movie. So there you go. We're going to be unlocking the power of the Pygmalion effect. This is more about a psychological thing that people have noticed. If you give someone a certain set of expectations, be they good or bad, people will either live up to or live down to those expectations. It's sort of the influence of others' thinking on what you can or can't do.
Okay, so we've got a lot of text here, so follow along closely as we listen to the first part, and we'll come back right away to discuss it.
Unlocking the power of the Pygmalion effect. Have you ever received extra encouragement and support from a teacher or coach who believed you were destined for greatness? And did this person's expectations and actions give you the confidence you needed to succeed? If so, then you've experienced the Pygmalion effect. The Pygmalion effect is a phenomenon in which expectations influence a person's performance in a given area. The term was coined by psychologists Robert Rosenthal and Lenore Jacobson in their 1968 study, Pygmalion in the Classroom. The researchers found that when teachers were told certain students were academically gifted, those students subsequently performed better on intelligence tests than students who were not labeled as such.
大家好，第一部分我们可以看到动词 destined， 它指的是命中注定或是命定。例如 Everyone believed the young boy was destined to become a great basketball player. 大家都相信这个小男孩注定会成为一位优秀的篮球员。再举一个例子 The influence of Janet's musician parents destined her for a career in music. 在父母均为音乐家的影响下 Janet 注定要走音乐这一行。下一个我们看到副词 subsequently， 它的意思是随后或是接着。例如 Amelia quit her job and subsequently went back to college. Amelia 辞掉了工作，随后又回到了大学。又或者说 Dan failed to show up to work for 3 days and was subsequently fired. Dan 3天没来上班，接着就被解雇了。另外去掉这个字的字尾 ly 就会变成形容词 subsequent， 它有随后的或是接着发生的意思。例如 While the author's first novel was a hit, his subsequent efforts were not as well received. 那位作者的第一本小说很畅销，但后来的作品就没有受好评。
Okay, it's time for us now to discuss the first part of our lesson for today. In the title, we're talking about unlocking the power of the Pygmalion effect. If you unlock something, you release it, you let it go. So if we want to use the Pygmalion effect to our advantage, we need to release it, we need to let it go so that it can help us.
There you go. So let's have a look at an example here in our first paragraph. It says, have you ever received extra encouragement and support from a teacher or coach who believed you were destined for greatness? In other words, sports? Have you ever been given extra support from someone? Has someone seen you as being special in some kind of way and saying, you're really good at this, I'm going to try to make you better, or make you the captain of the team, or something like that? So had someone around you who really believed in you and acted on that belief. They actually did things to help you because maybe they thought you were destined for success. When you're destined for something, it's like your fate, your future. It's what will happen to you because the gods have decided, or it's written in the stars or something like that. It's not really so much up to your personal choices. It's just written in your future.
Yeah, it's part of your plan, basically. And again, that's from the word destiny, which is what you're supposed to become in the future. It is my destiny to become successful in the architecture field. So in this particular case, yes, you might be destined for greatness. I think a lot of people would like to hear that. And did this person's expectations and actions give you the confidence you needed to succeed? So yes, indeed, if you receive that encouragement and support from a teacher, well, then those expectations may have given you the confidence to move forward. Yes, indeed, we do need those role models. We need compliments from our teachers and from our parents. If we don't get them, maybe we're not so motivated to become successful.
Well, if this has happened to you, it says, if so, then you've experienced the Pygmalion effect. So that's what we're talking about. Now, let's explain it a little more. It says the Pygmalion effect is a phenomenon in which expectations influence a person's performance in a given area. That's a good basic definition of the Pygmalion effect. When someone's expectations, what they think you are capable of doing, will influence what you actually do. So basically, if someone says, you could be great at this, you think, I'm going to be great at this. If someone says, I think you're never going to be good, then no matter how hard you try in your mind, you're going to fail, and that is just what's been decided. So it's kind of the influence that others' opinions on you can have on you in the real world, or in a given area, in a certain aspect of your life. Here we're kind of talking about in your studies, in your performance on the sports field, in your performance in a hobby, maybe it's, playing music or something like that, this type of thing. So in a certain area of your life concerning a certain activity that you're doing, a person's expectations can influence how you actually do.
Okay, so the term, the Pygmalion effect, was coined by psychologists Robert Rosenthal and Lenore Jacobson in their 1968 study, Pygmalion in the Classroom. So we've got a couple of psychologists, and they did this study way back in 1968, and they called the study Pygmalion in the Classroom. And if you coin a term, you just invent a new term for something, and this does happen quite a lot in the modern world because we're coming across new discoveries all the time, and new words are being coined all the time.
That's true. The internet and social media also coins a lot of new terms that we sometimes begin using soon after. Here's an example, or what the researchers discovered, how they discovered it. It says the researchers found that when teachers were told certain students were academically gifted, those students subsequently performed better on intelligence tests than students who were not labeled as such. All right, so when the teachers were told that certain students are really, really smart, well, those students, after they were told that, or subsequently, in other words, then, performed better on these tests. So basically, just by feeling that someone is going to be good, that person suddenly becomes better. All right, that's a very interesting idea, and we'll have much more about it in our second paragraph, so let's check that out now. The idea behind the Pygmalion effect is that people rise or fall to meet the expectations set for them. When someone is perceived as capable and competent, they are more likely to be given the resources they need to succeed. This, in turn, can lead to improved performance and greater success. On the other hand, when someone is perceived as less capable, they may be denied opportunities and resources, which can result in poor performance and less success. Essentially, the effect is a kind of feedback loop. This phenomenon can be observed in various settings. In the workplace, managers who have high expectations of their employees tend to be more supportive and provide better opportunities for growth and development. It's no surprise that such an environment leads to improved performance and productivity. Similarly, coaches tend to spend extra time with athletes whom they consider talented. The extra feedback and attention motivates these athletes to spend more time honing their skills, so they improve faster than athletes who are considered average to begin with. In both cases, the key is not only to have high expectations, but also to communicate those expectations and create an environment in which they can be met.
第二部分我们介绍形容词 competent， 它指的是能干的、称职的或是能胜任的。例如 Alex was a competent salesman who always meets his quota. Alex 是个总是达标、能力很强的业务员。或者 Dave's excellent performance this past year proves that he is a competent employee. Dave 过去1年的出色表现证明他是一名称职的员工。另外补充这个字的同义形容词 capable， C-A-P-A-B-L-E capable。例如I'm not worried about losing the case because I have a very capable lawyer. 我不担心败诉，因为我有一位非常称职的律师。再来看一个例句 Patrick thinks that his son is a very capable young man. Patrick 认为他儿子是个很有能力的年轻人。接下来我们看到动词 perceive， 它有视为、认为、看作或是注意到的意思。举例来说Though widely perceived as dangerous, gorillas are actually shy, peaceful animals. 虽然人们常认为大猩猩很危险，但它们其实是害羞、爱好和平的动物。最后我们看到单字 essentially， 它是副词，指的是基本上、大体上或是根本上。例如 All of that director's movies have essentially the same cast. 那位导演的所有电影基本上都是相同的演员阵容。最后一个例子If you invest in that company, you're essentially guaranteed to make money. 如果你投资那家公司，你基本上可以保证赚钱。
Okay, here's the second paragraph. Let's talk about it. It says, the idea behind the Pygmalion effect is that people rise or fall to meet the expectations set for them. So that's the basic gist, or the basic idea of the Pygmalion effect. You have some expectations set for you, okay? And according to those expectations, you either succeed or you fail. You rise or fall according to those expectations. If you've got high expectations from other people, well, you're probably going to perform well.
There you go. When someone is perceived as capable and competent, they are more likely to be given the resources they need to succeed. Very interesting. So if someone is perceived, if you think, not in the actual reality, not in ways you can study and measure and record, but if you even think that a certain person is capable and competent, then that person will probably be given more things that they need to be capable and competent. So it will sort of build on itself. When you're capable, you can do things. And when you're competent, you basically have a good skill level. You're reliable. You're able to get things done. It doesn't necessarily say you're the best in the world at something, but you're certainly able to do it. If you have a driver's license, you have proven that you are competent in driving a car safely. Maybe you're not going to be the next world F1 champion, but it means you have the basic skills to do something safely without failing, without having problems or having disasters happen or something like that. So basically, yeah, if you're thinking of a person in a certain way and that is a good positive way and you think that they are able, they have skills, then you will give that person more skills in order to be successful. As it says, this in turn or subsequently, to use a word from the first section, this subsequently can lead to improved performance and greater success. So if I think you're good, I'm going to give you the things that you need to be good, and then, of course, that will make it easier for you to be even better.
Okay, but on the other hand, when someone is perceived as less capable, they may be denied opportunities and resources, which can result in poorer performance and less success. So that's on the other hand. When you compare two things, you say on the one hand, blah, 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 but on the other hand, blah, blah, blah. So yes, if you perceive someone as being less capable, if they're average, they're not showing any potential for success in the future, if they're perceived as less capable, then they may be denied those opportunities and resources. So here we've got the verb to perceive. That just means how you see something or how you understand something.
Absolutely. Essentially, it says the effect is a kind of feedback loop. So essentially, when we put that at the beginning of a sentence and often at the end of a paragraph, we're kind of saying basically. This is the idea sort of boiled down to its simplest form. The effect, or the Pygmalion effect, is kind of a feedback loop. A feedback loop is that sort of thing where it feeds in on itself and it just keeps going. If you think you will be successful, then you will work harder and then you will be more successful, leading you to think that you're more successful, which leads you to work harder, that kind of idea. So basically, this is a feedback loop. If I think you're going to be successful, I'll give you the things to succeed. If I think you're not going to be successful, I'll hold back those things. And then, of course, it will be hard for you to be successful because you don't have the resources you need to be successful. Now, let's see how this can actually happen in the real world.
Okay, in the next paragraph, it says, this phenomenon can be observed in various settings. For example, in the workplace, managers who have high expectations of their employees tend to be more supportive and provide better opportunities for growth and development. So yeah, if you're a manager in the office and you encourage your employees, they'll probably do better. And if you discourage them, call them names and yell at them and stuff like that, they probably will do worse. And it's no surprise that such an environment leads to improved performance and productivity, which means how much you can produce.
Similarly, coaches, so away from the work environment, now with more sports environment, where again, encouragement and belief in your coach will be a benefit for athletes. It says, similarly, coaches tend to spend extra time with athletes whom they consider talented. They will spend more time trying to coach the athletes or the students or whoever they think can become good players. It's just a better way of using their time. But the extra feedback and attention motivates these athletes to spend more time honing their skills. Coach really believes in me, so I'm going to spend more time doing my free throws because I don't want to let coach down because coach believes in me. That's the idea. So they improve faster than athletes who are considered average to begin with. There you go. It's a lot of that belief will then turn into motivation for the athletes. Motivation being the noun. To motivate is the verb. It's basically to give someone encouragement, to give them the support, to say, I believe in you and you can do it, and jayo. When you cheer at a sports event, you're giving motivation to the team. And if you say, well done, or good luck, or we believe in you, those words can motivate a person to do well. And then those people will spend more time honing their skills. To hone, technically, it would be like to sharpen a knife. When you hone a knife, you're sharpening it, making it better able to cut. When you hone your skills, you're sharpening, improving your skills. You're becoming more skillful by practicing and stuff like that.
Okay, moving on here, it says they will improve faster than athletes who are considered average to begin with. And in both cases, the key is not only to have high expectations, but also to communicate those expectations and create an environment in which they can be met. So therefore, we can learn something from this. Of course, you can encourage people to succeed, and if you do so, there's a good chance that they will. And I suppose the opposite is that if you discourage those people, then they probably won't succeed. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now to the third and final part. We'll listen to it first.
By setting high expectations, providing support, and rewarding strong performance, leaders of all kinds can use the Pygmalion effect to bring out the best in others. And we ordinary people can take advantage of this phenomenon in our own lives by maintaining high expectations for ourselves and those around us.
Okay, it's time now for us to discuss the third and final part of our lesson for today. It says, by setting high expectations, providing support, and rewarding strong performance, leaders of all kinds can use the Pygmalion effect to bring out the best in others. So this is summarizing our article for today. First of all, you can set high expectations for people. Tell people that you expect a lot out of them because you believe that they can do it. You also provide support for them. Whenever they do something well, you compliment them on that. You reward that person. And yes, indeed, you do reward that strong performance. You recognize them. Maybe they're elected Employee of the Month or something like that. And with these factors, leaders of all kinds, managers or athletes or great musicians, can use the Pygmalion effect to bring out the best in others. So if you bring out the best in someone, you allow the best part of that person to come forward and not be suppressed.
There you go. So encourage all the people, not just the people who seem to have this natural ability. If you encourage everyone, then everyone will do better. You can bring out the best in others. And we ordinary people, so even if you're not a manager or a coach or a school teacher, and we ordinary people can take advantage of this phenomenon in our own lives by maintaining high expectations for ourselves and those around us. In other words, be your own coach, be your own well-motivated boss, or something like that, and you can encourage yourself, you can believe in yourself, expect yourself to do well, and you might be surprised, you probably will do well, or at least better.
Yeah, indeed. So if we're not getting compliments from our teachers or our coaches or whatever, we can give them to ourselves. Give yourself some expectations and give yourself some feedback. That might be more difficult if you're not getting that from your peers, your teachers, etc. But still, it's something to keep in mind. You can take advantage of this phenomenon in your own life by maintaining those high expectations for yourself and also for those around you. So yes, indeed, you can expect compliments from other people and encouragement from other people, but you should also be willing to give it to other people, and then it's kind of a win-win situation for everybody.
And that would be a wonderful thing, wouldn't it?
It would be indeed. And another wonderful thing would be to listen to Hanny, our beloved Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们今天要来练习这个篇章结构的题型。这次的文章题目有4个空格，可是有5个选项，会比较有挑战性哦。我们就来看看这5个句子吧。 A 选项他说 When someone is perceived as capable and competent, they are more likely to be given the resources they need to succeed. 当某人被认为有能力和能干时，他们比较有可能得到这个成功所需的资源。那 B 选项他说 By setting high expectations, providing support, and rewarding strong performance, leaders of all kinds can use the Pygmalion effect to bring out the best in others. 借由设定高期望，提供支持和奖励突出表现，各类领导人都可以运用毕马龙效应来激发别人的最佳潜能。那这是在说明领导人可以如何运用这个效应。好，那么 C 选项他说 It's no surprise that such an environment leads to improved performance and productivity. 这样的环境可以提升表现和生产力，就一点都不令人惊讶。那这个选项它的关键词是 such an environment。这样的环境，那就表示前面已经有提过某种环境咯，它可能是某种教育环境啊、工作环境等等，应该不会是指自然环境。好，那么 D 选项他说 An individual may unknowingly be influenced by these expectations and adjust his behavior accordingly, leading to an actual decline in performance. 一个人可能会不自觉受到这些期望影响，并相应调整其行为，导致实际上表现变差。好，这个选项关键词会在于 these expectations， 这表示前面可能有提过一些期望，然后这个句子所在的段落应该会是在谈论这些期望造成表现不佳的这种相关内容哦。好，那么 E 选项他说 The researchers found that when teachers were told certain students were academically gifted, those students subsequently performed better on intelligence tests than students who were not labeled as such. 研究人员发现，当老师被告知某些学生具有学业天赋时，那些学生之后在智力测验中的表现比没有被这样认为的学生来得好。那这个选项的关键词是 the researchers， 研究人员，他用到定冠词 the， 然后还有提到 teachers 和 students， 这表示前面可能已经有提过相关的研究人员还有相关的研究对象，所以这个研究应该就是跟老师学生有关咯。好，那看完这5个选项，我们来做题目吧。第一个空格它是出现在第2段的最后一句，那前面就提到说毕马龙效应是一种期望会影响一个人在某一个特定领域表现的现象。这个术语啊是由2位心理学家在他们1968年的研究 Pygmalion in the Classroom 教室中的毕马龙在这个研究中所创造的。 那所以就可以推论空格应该会跟这个研究内容有关嘛。好，那一选项它不是说研究人员发现当老师被告知某些学生具有学业天赋时怎么样怎么样，这个就是在说明研究结果，而且关键词 the researchers刚好就可以用来指称我们前面提到的2位心理学家。然后呢，我们提到这个关键词 teachers 跟 students 老师和学生也刚好跟研究名称这个教室中的毕马龙呼应，所以正确答案就是选1。好，再来第2个空格是出现在第3段的第2句。那它前一句有提到说毕马龙效应背后的概念是人们会因应为他们设定的期望而有起落，那么空格后面则提到因而能提升表现和取得更大的成就，我们就可以推论空格应该会跟正面的期望或评价是有关的。那选项 A 他提到当某人被认为有能力和能干时，他们比较有可能得到成功所需的资源，这个叙述符合推论，然后前后讯息也都呼应，所以会是正确答案。好，那第3个空格是出现在第4段，这个段落第一句他就说毕马龙效应可以在 various settings 许多环境中来观察到，那么 setting 在这里是指环境地点，而这句呢它是主题句，接着他就先举了职场上的例子，然后出现了第3个空格，接着再举了运动场上的例子，所以我们可以就此来判断说空格应该会跟前一句那个职场的例子是有关的。那这边他写到说对员工有高度期待的主管往往会比较支持员工，并提供更好的成长和发展机会。那从语音上来看，我们最适合的选项就是 C， 去表达说这样的环境可以提升表现和生产力，就一点都不令人惊讶了。那我们刚刚有提过这个关键词 such an environment 这样的环境，那就是用来指称前面提到的职场，这个语义上也是有连贯的哦，所以就是选 C。 再看到第4个空格是出现在最后一段第一句，它很有可能是可以作为结论的内容。我们看到空格的后面他提到说我们一般人可以借由对自己和周围的人保持高期望，在生活中善用这个现象，那这是在说明一般人可以如何运用毕马龙效应，跟这个有关嘛。那么选项 B 则是在说明领导人可以如何运用这个效应，所以这边是符合句意的，我们答案就是选 B。 好，最后呢没有选到的 D， 它不是在讲说期望会造成表现不佳吗？这是在阐述负面影响，那放在任何一个空格都不符合句意，所以就不能选咯。那以上是今天的讲解，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Unlock. This course has been designed to help you unlock your potential. Perceive. Hugo perceived the joke as an insult, but Cassandra didn't see it that way. Essentially, the cause of the quarrel was essentially a lack of communication between team members. Motivate. Rock music motivates me when I'm working out. Competent. The new hire seems very competent and has quickly adapted to our work environment. Productivity. The study found that regular breaks improve worker productivity. Decline. Due to a decline in sales, the company closed several stores. Subsequently, Mr. Palmer got sick and subsequently had to cancel his trip.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Mike.
I am Roger. See you next time.